bringing you the latest news from around the world and here at home. I'm Sandru Ferdinando.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Before we head into our stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines.
President to address Commonwealth Business Forum tomorrow. Cascade Tank Village system in Sri Lanka to be recognized as globally important agricultural heritage site. Former minister exposes undue influence on ministries of petroleum and vocational training. Mahindananda Camaguey released on bail. Joint opposition to support motion to abolish executive presidency. Professor Rohan Samarajiva appointed new chairman of ICTA. Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons investigators to be allowed into Duma.
On to our top story now, President Maithripala will deliver the keynote speech at the Commonwealth Business Forum tomorrow on the sidelines of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. President Sirisena has also been invited to deliver the keynote speech on the Conference on Achieving Sustainable Development Goals. Newsfirst Hatton reports from London.
President Maithripala is to visit and speak to the Sri Lankan community in London this evening, and the President would be attending the reception hosted by the Acting High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to the United Kingdom at 7 p.m. London time. And the President is to give the keynote speech at the Commonwealth Business Forum at 11 a.m. tomorrow London time.
Youth, women and business forums are being held on the sidelines of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which will be held until the 21st of this month. During the visit, President Sirisena is also scheduled to meet several heads of state. President Maithripala will also attend the special celebration of the 92nd birthday of Queen Elizabeth.
His Excellency the President will deliver the keynote speech at the Commonwealth Business Forum tomorrow. The forum is expected to see the attendance of several international entrepreneurs and investors, where the President will focus on investment opportunities in Sri Lanka. The President will also speak about the measures Sri Lanka has taken for sustainable development. Sri Lanka is expected to be declared a country which has championed in the preservation of its mangroves. This will bring global recognition for Sri Lanka in its sustainable development process. Sri Lanka will benefit in many spheres at this meeting in terms of trade and investment.
Meanwhile, former Minister Mahindananda Camaguey, who was remanded for the failure to meet bail conditions yesterday, was released on bail today by the 4th Magistrates Court.
Former Minister Camaguey was arrested yesterday over the misappropriation of Sadhasa funds. He was granted bail after he was produced before the 4th Magistrate. He was ordered to make a cash bail of 35,000 rupees and 2 sureties of 500,000 rupees. The former minister was remanded as he failed to surrender his passport to court.
When I was at the police FCID, they received almost 6 phone calls. There was pressure on them. At a time when court has informed this case cannot be filed under the Public Property Act, they produced me under that act. This is illegal. It is contempt of court. Nevertheless, court ruled an honourable verdict. These are cases based on no confidence. Even if they filed 100 cases against us, the people have not lost faith on the judicial system. We are pleased the judiciary has been able to stand firm in this country. We will rise no matter how many cases are filed. The SLFP and the alliance remains. There are 2 people who report to the Prime Minister. There are no secretaries.
Former State Minister Dr. Sudarshini Fernandes-Pulle alleges the SLFPs who skipped the vote on no confidence motion moved by the joint opposition had brazenly violated the collective party decision to oust Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Speaking to the island, she notes those who had defied the party decision remain ministers, whereas the 16 MPs who acted in keeping with it had lost their ministerial positions.
Former State Minister for City Planning and Water Supply Dr. Sudarshini Fernandes-Pulle had told the island newspaper those who had undermined the party decision to oust Wickremesinghe were in a position to secure plum cabinet portfolios. The Gampaha district MP said the parliamentary group that had met President Maithripala on the 11th of February at his official residence unanimously agreed to seek PM Wickremesinghe's removal. Speaking to the island, Dr. Fernando Pulle said the February 11th decision had been confirmed on the 4th of April, several hours before the vote on the no-confidence motion took place at a meeting chaired by SLFP Deputy Chairman Minister Maithripala de Silva at the residence of UPFA General Secretary Mahinda Amaravira. Dr. Fernando Pulle had said the UNP had refused to accept the unprecedented crisis caused by the Treasury bond scam. She had gone on to say the government's credibility had been damaged beyond repair, adding the situation would continue to deteriorate.
Former Minister Chandima Virakuri, speaking on the Pathigara program this morning, says that there was undue pressure from the Prime Minister when projects and programs were being implemented under the Ministry of Petroleum Resources Development.
My first objective was to develop a section of the Trincomalee oil tank farm and generate a massive profit for the country. It was approved by Cabinet. Then, suddenly, the Prime Minister presented a Cabinet paper and put it on hold. Refining oil is one of the key enterprises in the world where massive profits can be made. A team of specialists were appointed and they made their recommendations. Thereafter, the project reports were prepared and it was discussed between the Prime Minister's Economic Committee and our teams of specialists. Our proposal was approved. When all reports were in hand, the Economic Committee put a stop to this. We had 11 key global investors to explore the possibilities of moving into natural gas. When we made the proposal to Cabinet to prepare a terminal, a project proposal was introduced by them where a 50% stake goes to an Indian company, 40% to a Japanese company and 10% for the government. I had to oppose such moves. I was handed over the Ministry of Skills Development and Vocational Training. I handed over a 11-phase program to the President to enhance the sectors of vocational training. The Finance Ministry allocated funds for that project. However, when the budget documents were made available, we noted those funds had been moved under the Prime Minister's ministry. I questioned the Finance Minister on this. He said the Prime Minister requested for it.
A Bak Maha festival organized by the Ministry of Plantation Industries took place at the Poromadulu Public Grounds in Hangurakketha. Prizes were handed over by Minister Navin Desanayake.
We believe the government is much stronger because the group that was always pulling us back and reprimanding the government from within has left. I wish to thank them for that. I sent that as a short text message to one minister. I would not mention the name, but when the vote took place, one person said I should leave the government. I did not vote in favour. I asked how could he be in the government and reprimand the Prime Minister and the government from within. We have now been blessed. They stepped out of the government. We can move this government further with more strength. We believe we need to obtain the message from the people and change.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says it has not given license or authorization to any entity to operate schemes involving virtual currencies, including cryptocurrencies, and has not authorized any initial coin offerings.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka in a statement says it is aware of the growing interest in virtual currencies, both domestically and internationally. It adds due to the absence of a centralized authority such as a central bank to guarantee the value of the currency and regulate transactions, there is no recourse in the event of any user or transaction-related issues or disputes. The value of virtual currencies is dependent on speculation and is not backed by an underlying asset or a regulatory framework. Due to this, virtual currencies may demonstrate major volatility. Similarly, there appears to be a high probability of virtual currencies being used in illegal activities. Further, though unintentional, their usage could amount to breaches of anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism laws. Therefore, cryptocurrencies in the present form may pose significant risks in terms of financial, operational, legal, customer protection and security-related risks to their users as well as to the economy.
MP Bandula Gunawardena says the joint opposition would support the proposal for the 20th Amendment to the Constitution, which is to be presented by the Janata Vimukti Peramuna.
The JVP parliamentary group announced it will move a proposal to Parliament to abolish the executive presidency. The former president, on behalf of the joint opposition, informed Andru Kumara Dissanayake our intention of supporting the abolishment of the executive presidency. However, when that motion is passed, Parliament has to be dissolved that very day. That will lead the path to create a new parliament and solve the mess. The joint opposition would support the motion for the abolishment of the executive presidency. We will support it only if there is an agreement to dissolve Parliament the very day it is passed.
The MP also commented on the economy.
The villagers too are not pleased with the state of affairs. In the coming days, a decision is to be made whether the coalition government will continue or not. The 16 MPs who voted in favour of the motion of no confidence will be seated with the opposition. If we take a look at this from the economic perspective, there is serious political instability and it will be proven difficult to operate a stable economic plan. The prices of fuel, gas, fertilizer, chemicals and other imported items will increase. The depreciation of the rupee, the increase in overseas goods and the excessive taxes on goods will attribute to the massive economic burden the people would experience.
According to the Island newspaper, the election of new UNP office bearers and proposed amendments to the constitution are scheduled to be taken up for discussion when the party's recently elected Politburo meets on Thursday.
In the Island report, MP Nalin Bandara had said the Politburo would, at this week's meeting, strive to reach an agreement on the names proposed for the positions that would fall vacant on April 30th and constitutional amendments needed to give legal effect to the creation of the Politburo, which comprises 12 elected and 3 ex officio members. Bandara is quoted as saying the term of all current office bearers would expire at the end of this month in accordance with the decision taken at the joint meeting of the working committee and the parliamentary group, except the party leader, who according to the UNP constitution would hold that position by virtue of being the president or the prime minister or the leader of the opposition. Speaking on Newsline this morning, UNP MP Mujibur Rahman said changes in the UNP are important.
Because everybody understand, everybody thinking we can't go like this. We must have some genuine changes in the party, right? So everybody has accepted that one. Yeah. So we have to do that, otherwise we can't survive.
So you can see change slowly, but it's happening.
Slowly, but it's happening. It will happen.
Do you get frustrated sometimes when you see, because you are an elected member? Do you get frustrated sometimes when you see some people, senior, who are friends of the top, who parachute in without being elected, big positions?
You know, in every parties, you know, all these things are happening, you know, no? That is not in Sri Lanka. If you go to the SLFE also, it has happened. In UMP also, it has happened. Yeah, we need some people from the national list also. Right, all the elected members can't do everything, right? So there are a lot of work to do. So you know, we have to accept those things also. Yeah.
The cascaded tank village system in Sri Lanka will be recognized as one of the 14 newly designated globally important agricultural heritage sites in the world. The awarding of the new sites will take place in Rome on the 19th.
In 2017, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations designated a typical Sri Lankan agrarian system, the Ilanga Gammana or Cascaded Tank Village System in the dry zone, for its inscription and recognition into the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations list of globally important agricultural heritage sites. The Cascaded Tank Village System in Sri Lanka will be recognized at the International Forum and Award Ceremony for new globally important agricultural heritage sites on the 19th of April in Rome, Italy. The other sites that will be included in the globally important agricultural heritage sites list are China, Egypt, Japan, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Portugal and Spain. This FAO-led initiative aims to protect and promote valuable agricultural heritage, preserve biodiversity and traditional knowledge, as well as create resilient ecosystems. An Ilanga system is a system where a large number of small wawas are interconnected based on their geographical locations to nourish one large wawa. The wawa is not only considered as a place to store water, but it is a complete ecosystem that caters to humans, animals, as well as fauna and flora. Recent research shows our ancestors constructed the small valve system similar to the kidney filtering system in the human body. Newsfirst, who identified the importance of this great irrigation system over the recent months, carried out research along the Bellan Kadavala Elanga system in Anuradhapura. The research was carried out with the assistance of the University of Peradeniya, and a large number of hidden secrets of this amazing agrarian system and the technology used centuries ago were uncovered. It is this very irrigation technology that we revealed to the world following an extensive study that has been recognized as one of the globally important agricultural heritage sites in the world.
Syrian media reports that air defense systems have downed missiles after what may have been a new Israeli strike. According to reports from Damascus, the attacks reportedly targeted Shayrat Air Base in Homs province and Al-Dumaya base northeast of Damascus.
International media reports up to 10 missiles were destroyed by the Syrian armed forces. The strike caused no physical damage or casualties, and the attack came before talks with militants were due to start over their withdrawal from the area. While it remains unclear who launched the attack, the reported strike comes just days after Washington, London and Paris carried out a coordinated strike in Syria in the early hours of Saturday morning. It also comes roughly a week after two Israeli F-15 fighters targeted another Syria's air base in Homs province, Tiaz. The BBC says 5 days after their arrival, chemical weapons inspectors in Syria will be given access to an alleged attack site. US officials have raised concerns that Russia may have tampered with the site while inspectors were denied access. Syria and its ally Russia denied responsibility for the attack, with Russia claiming that it was staged. In addition, Russia's defense ministry said Syria's military had destroyed 71 out of 103 cruise missiles detected in the country's airspace during the Western strike at the weekend. The Kremlin said British allegations chemical weapons inspectors were not being allowed access to Syria's Duma were groundless, adding Russia has consistently supported an investigation into this suspected gas attack.
On Saturday and Sunday, all of us witnessed another violation of international law, another aggression of a number of countries against sovereign Syrian Arab Republic. You know Russia's position on that. It was clearly and distinctly conveyed in the Russian leader's statement. Russia called for an objective investigation. This was at the very beginning after this information appeared. Therefore, such allegations against Russia are groundless.
A hospital media says no symptoms of chemical poisoning were diagnosed in the patients admitted in a hospital in the Syrian town of Duma, where a suspected chemical attack was reported. Video clips of the suspected chemical attack showed that children foamed at their mouths in the basement of a severely damaged building. The hospital where the victims of the suspected chemical attack were sent to is located not far away from the building shown in the video clips. The media claims they received on Saturday patients with respiratory problems due to the dust, smoke and gravels in the basement they were hiding in.
In a new development, the Syrian army began preparatory shelling for an assault on the last area outside its control near Damascus, now according to a commander in the pro-government alliance. Recovering the Yarmouk camp and neighboring areas located south of the city would give President Bashar al-Assad complete control over Syria's capital, further consolidating his grip on power.
In local news now, governors of two provinces officially assumed duties today.
Reginald Kure, who was appointed as the governor for the north, assumed duties following religious observances at the Nallur Kovil. Kure was appointed as governor for the central province on the 12th. However, the very next day he took oaths again as the governor for the north. I feel as if it is my birthday. On the 12th, I took oaths as the governor for the central province, and even before 24 hours passed, the president once again appointed me as the governor for the north. I can recommence all initiatives that I have launched for the people in the area. I am pleased to be able to relaunch those projects. PB Disanayake assumed duties as the new governor for the central province today. His Excellency the President summoned us and provided us with an opportunity to shuffle the governors. We agreed and submitted our preferred provinces. I request the Northwestern Province. That is how I was appointed to the province, and I am not here to harm anyone. Based on the President's need, I signed as the Central Province Governor on the 13th.
මම 13 වෙනිදා අස්සන් කරා මධ්‍යම පළාතේ ආණ්ඩුකාරවරයා.
Professor Rohan Samarjiva has been appointed as the chairman of Information and Communication Technology Agency, or ICTA. A new board of directors have been appointed for the agency as well.
The Information and Communication Technology Agency, or ICTA, was established to assist the Cabinet of Ministers in the formulation of the national policy on ICT and provide all information necessary for its formulation. Currently, ICTA is overseen by the Ministry of Telecommunication and Digital Infrastructure. Professor Samarjiva is incidentally the former Director General of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, who contributed to the design of the East Sri Lanka initiative that the ICTA implemented from 2003. Accordingly, professionals with knowledge and expertise in the software and business process outsourcing sectors, telecommunications, cybersecurity, government and verticals that are major users of ICTs have been appointed to the new board.
More than 77 houses were damaged when gale winds swept across the Mirigama area in Gampaha early today.
Buildings and houses in a number of areas including Valvatta, Neligama, Tavalampitiya and Muguru Gampala suffered damages.
We did not realize what happened. We did not hear the gale winds. We just heard a sudden noise.
Disaster relief officers, the Mirigama Divisional Secretariat Pradeep Kumar said restoration operations are underway with the assistance of the Sri Lanka Army and Police. The supply of electricity to a number of areas in Mirigama was disrupted since last night due to gale winds. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, Sulakshana Jayawardena, said that measures are underway to restore the power supply.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe toured the Bogawantalawa area in Hatton this morning. The Prime Minister inspected the land where a proposed golf course is to be constructed in the Tinsin area in Bogawantalawa. UNP Nureli parliamentarian K.K. Piyadasa accompanied the Prime Minister.
The Hunupite Gangarama Temple in Colombo has organized a series of events to coincide with Vesak.
At the Vesak zone this year, the Sarvakna relics from Saranath, India and Takshila, Pakistan will be on display. This Vesak will be one where we Sri Lankans can have pride and respect as well as obtain more blessings. Therefore, we request all citizens to engage in religious observances and light a lamp in all households. In line with the National Vesak Festival, the event to display the Sarvakna relics and other artifacts will take place on the 29th and 30th of April as well as on the 1st of May. The exhibition will feature stalls from 26 state institutions, 7 provincial councils. We are also connected to the Sirasa Vesak zone as well. Therefore, all the visitors will have to visit all the Vesak zones. We hope to make the entire city of Colombo one Vesak zone.
Let's now have a quick look at what's happening in the world of sports.
Sri Lanka Cricket announced today that South Africa Nick Pothas has stepped down as the fielding consultant for the Sri Lankan cricket team. The 44-year-old was handed the interim head coach's role last June following Graham Ford's exit and was considered a contender for the permanent position before returning to his fielding role once Chandik Hathrusinghe was appointed as head coach in December. His contract was to end in August this year. And that's all about Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Stay tuned for BizFirst in Focus, featuring an interesting discussion with the world-renowned social media strategist, Sri Srinivasan.